Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call to order the Farmington Board of Education meeting for Monday, December 10th, 2018. If we can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, okay, yeah. Unfortunately, tonight we just gonna, have a moment of silence. We recently just had the passing of a 10th grade student, Sophie Alves, 10th grader at Farmington High School, tragically passed away, and she was a valued member of the Farmington High School community, and it's especially tragic at this time of year to have a child pass, and I'm sure no words can express the sympathy and ease the loss experienced by the Alves family. But if we could just have a moment of silence here and keep the Alves family in our thoughts and prayers through the holiday season. All right, thank you very much. Okay, item on agenda, item 3, performance and recognition, 3A. We're going to kick off the holiday season, I guess, tonight with a special performance by the Chamber Strings. So at this point in time.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm Shannon Prouty. I'm the Director of Orchestras at Farmington High School. This is my Chamber Strings. We meet once a week on Thursday evenings from 7 to 8:15. So because we meet so infrequently, these students have to practice on their own outside of rehearsal, and they almost always do. So I hope that you're going to enjoy what we're playing for you tonight. This is Serenade for Strings by Dvorak. Dvorak lived from 1841 to 1904. This is still a very classic piece of strings literature. It's very difficult, changes keys a lot, lots of hard rhythms, requires a lot of communication between the sections. So we are playing movements 1 and 3. They'll total about 10 minutes or so. We hope you enjoy.
That was quite
Yeah,
amazing.
thank you, Shannon. That was absolutely amazing, and it's just what the doctor had ordered after sort of a hectic holiday weekend. I just want to congratulate the students. I mean, that was beautiful and it was impressive in their dedication and commitment to, practicing over and above, and your families who support you during this. And I'd also like to thank, I guess, Kathy, the administration, my board members, and those who preceded us in making a commitment to the arts and the music program, because it's evident why we do this, and it was just absolutely beautiful. So keep up the great work, and it's just beautiful.
Yes, Shannon, thank you so much. And all of our students, really an extraordinary performance. I was here at the winter concert at IAR, and our new principal, Mr. Hurwitz, said to the audience, just close your eyes and just listen. You won't believe that these are middle school students. And I feel the same way tonight. Just close my eyes during your performance. I can't believe your high school students performing for us. It really just, as I said, extraordinary. We thank your parents. We thank your teacher. We thank you. It just puts us all in the holiday spirit. And just like Chris said, this is just such a treat for our board. They volunteer many hours on your behalf to make sure that our programs here are intact and that we are always pushing forward as a school district and trying to offer as many opportunities for our students, because we want every student to have a place in Farmington. And this is a great example of our students who have a love of music, who work hard, their parents support them, and our board supports this program, our community supports music in Farmington, and we just want to thank you so much.
Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to play here. We had a good time, I think. They definitely had fun. And we're very excited to be here, so thank you again so much.
And I also suggest that maybe we could retain them to play background music during our budget sessions coming
It
up.
would-
It would make
it would
everything so much better, calm and everything.
Your passion shows. I mean, you meet on Thursday evenings. That's
Thursday evenings, right?
that's incredible. Congratulations, seriously.
Thank you so much,
It's
everybody.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Great job. Thank you very much for that.
That was great. You guys can keep it up.
That's great. In high school. They all take a cookie.
All right, next item on the agenda, item 3B, recognition of Ed Manfredi, our award recipient. Ed, I'll let Kathy take over, but it's nice to see you. Congratulations, Mary Beth, and the family is here to support you, so I'm very happy.
So if Ed could come up to the table, and I don't know if Bill Silva is here, but I'm sure he'd love to join.
There he is,
But Ed is being recognized this evening, and I know his wife is here, Mary Beth, and 2 of his 4 sons, all graduates, proud graduates of Farmington High School. So Ed is a highly valued member of the Farmington School faculty. His accomplishments as a teacher and a department leader are extensive and varied. We have been so fortunate to have Ed leading our health, wellness, and physical education department. He's also led efforts in Focus, a community organization that has made a big impact here in Farmington. His impact in health, wellness, and physical education programming has made Farmington a leader in these areas and helped to ensure students leave the Farmington schools with the knowledge and skills to make healthy decisions, lifelong decisions. He was recently received an award from the Connecticut, this is quite a title, Connecticut Association of Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance. So we just congratulate you, Ed, and this is a long time coming because you really have had such an incredible career and still so many more accomplishments to come. But we really, I want to say we are so fortunate to have Ed leading that department and just contributing and being such an innovative leader over some time now. So, Bill, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I just want to, congratulate Ed on this recognition, and it is the highest award of the professional organization that represents health education, PE. But to me, as the principal of Farmington High School, Ed is a senior member of our building leadership team, and we just count on him for so much in terms of how much he contributes to all the work that we're doing at Farmington High School. And Ed's a leader in the work that we've been doing around mastery-based learning, changes in our assessment practices, really pushing curriculum instruction and assessment in some really important and strategic ways. And he is such a help to his colleagues and really has been leading that work at the high school with us, and very proud of that. And then the other thing I want to mention, and we had our folks from FCD here last week, and the work that Ed has done with FCD and with Focus in the Farmington community to really educate students, parents, and the whole community about issues related to substance use and abuse, and really kind of changing the mindset about how we should educate young people about these issues, and really doing it in a way that has had significant and very real improvements. And we do surveys that show the efficacy of the efforts that we've made as a community, and Ed has really spearheaded that and has led that, and is really, I think, in a very quiet and humble way, we have a lot to be proud of in terms of the work that Ed has done. So congratulations on your recognition, and thank you for all that you contribute to Farmington High School and the Farmington Public Schools.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I apologize for the acronym. I was president of that organization about a dozen years ago, and I tried to change it, and they wouldn't buy it. So it's time to renew that. But just like to thank the board and for all the work you do all year round, and for this recognition. I really appreciate that. And Bill, for his kind words. This is my 35th year of teaching, and 17th year as department head here in Farmington. And when I came on board with Tim Breslin as principal many years ago, he asked me why I thought, why I wanted to come to Farmington. I said, it's just very doable. I think you have, the people in place to really make a difference here, and people I really wanted to work with, and that's just proven so true over the years. Administrators, teachers, staff, students have always been great to work with, professionally rewarding, always pushing. Our level of competence and getting better all the time. And so it's always been a real pleasure to work here. And a special shout out to my K-12 staff, which is just a really outstanding staff. They are really good at what they do, and they're really dedicated to getting better. When I first got here, it was me saying, hey, here's the path. Now they know. They're saying to me, hey, how about we go down? Yes. It's so rewarding to work with a staff that is leading the work, not just me leading the work. And all for the students, all for putting programs in place, as Kathy said, that benefit students, benefit them thinking about their health and wellness and their decision making, and not only when they're with us, but when they leave us. So that's what we're dedicated to. And people work really hard at it, so I really appreciate that. So thanks again to the board, and I'll let you get to the rest of your work tonight. Thanks so much.
Congratulations. Thank you very much for all the work you do.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And before you step away, I just want to, one of the coolest things that we get to do as board members is to recognize professionals that work with kids that we get to know in our experience. And I've worked with you on Focus for a number of years now, And what I just want to kind of say for people watching at home or that are here that may not know what Ed does, we spend a lot of time here working really hard on college preparedness. I mean, that's a big part of our district's message and motto and drives us. But what Ed does is make sure that our kids are well-rounded and make sure that they're not just driven solely by, good grades and let's get into college. But as you say, you give them you give them skills to learn how to make good decisions for themselves, both during school, high school, and then when we lose them when they're off into the real world. And the number of lives that you've affected is too many to count, frankly, in a positive way. And most significantly, I think what you've done, and we have some data to support this, frankly, we are a data-driven district, is that through your work and through your team's work, we have, I think, a really good handle on kids and substance abuse in our district that I think we're in a better place than a lot of other districts, frankly. And that's solely, I say solely, but in large measure due to your leadership and your work. So I just want to thank you on behalf of my children and on behalf of, I think, everybody else. So well done, really well deserved. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, next item, approval of minutes for, can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the November 12th, 2018 regular meeting?
Motion. Second.
Okay, any corrections or modifications? Okay, there being none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. All right, next item, 6B, strategic planning and accountability for continuous improvement.
So this is a document you see every year. It really articulates our program and school improvement priorities for the coming year. It's aligned to our improvement design, our vision of the graduate, our framework, our core beliefs, and our theory of action. You saw one element of our theory of action here this evening. Kim is going to provide just a brief overview of the structure of the plan and then summarize some of the priorities for this year.
Thank you, Kathy. And Scott and Nilda, it was a wonderful segue into this part of the presentation tonight because you highlighted your culture and climate goal, and it was a wonderful example of the work that's going on across the district. These school and program development plans are an essential part of our accountability system as well as an important communication tool for the community. This is our second year working in a more streamlined format so that as a communication tool, it can be more accessible to parents and our community at large. As I pointed out a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about results and outcomes from last year, each program or school plan is divided into 3 components or 3 core areas: culture and climate, academic achievement, and teaching and learning. And so I'm just going to highlight some of the themes that you would notice as you read through all of the plans that are creating that sense of coherence across our district. So in culture and climate, as Scott highlighted this evening, we're all working on building a positive, inclusive, welcoming, and supportive school culture so that every child does feel like he or she belongs and can succeed in school. And as well, we have a district-wide committee that is functioning to look more closely at social emotional learning this year, and you will be hearing from that the findings and recommendations from that committee later in this school year. We're looking at social emotional learning from the standpoint of curriculum, instruction, intervention, and data analysis. In academic achievement, you will see in each of the plans, though they are unique, all focused on using a mastery-based approach to closing achievement gaps, differentiating the support and challenge level to meet students where they are as learners, and continuing to create students who are self-directed and assessment-capable learners who know how to really reflect and assess their own progress and use feedback to improve. And you'll see that in different ways and in different subject areas as priorities in the school plans, but nevertheless thematically linked, and certainly linked back to the vision of the graduate. And then in teaching and learning, I think, again, as Scott referenced, we had a convocation focused on socially constructed learning this year. And now you see this theme present in many of the school's plans. We know that the world of work and life has become ever more connected, and being able to function in a very socially constructed learning environment is so important for our students. We're working to develop the skills of empathy, a little bit of that you had a taste of tonight, curiosity, flexibility, and persistence as they co-construct understanding and work together in classrooms. So those are just some of the themes that you would see represented across the school plans, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you had as you read through them.
Any questions for Kim? Okay. Well, thank you, Kim. Anything? Okay, next item, 6C, Engage Learning Update.
We have several items, and our Engaged Learning Update is a place where we celebrate our students, our schools, and our district. The first item is a recognition of an FHS student who is one of the 2019 Young Arts Merit Award recipients. And this foundation recognizes students on a national basis, and the nation's most promising young artists are highlighted. At Westwoods, we have a Bear unit that's being highlighted. That was a 5th grade integrated unit, including many examples of how experts came into our school and provided information to our students. Another item from Westwoods was a group of parents from a particular neighborhood came together, and they donated a substantial amount of money for the Westwoods Upper Elementary Playground Project, so there's a nice photo in there. At IAR, the school highlighted how they celebrated Down Syndrome Awareness Month, and there's information on how the Friends program created blue and yellow ribbons and bracelets to hand out to students and made posters throughout the school. And then in a nice collaboration between Westwoods and FHS STEM Club visited Westwoods to educate and inspire 6th grade students to explore different stations that offered opportunities to explore STEM concepts. So this is just a really great example of a student-led initiative here. And then Union School celebrated their annual turkey trot, and the school also highlighted the use of our Destiny catalog to share book recommendations. And lastly, West District students traveled to the old schoolhouse and created scarecrows as part of their art unit. So those are the highlights.
Well, thank you. Always nice to catch up on the achievements. It's always nice.
Yeah.
Okay, next item, 6D, professional appointments, retirements, resignations. We have one.
So we did have a resignation of a special education teacher, and we're in the process of interviewing and hoping to hire someone as a replacement.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda, 7A, budget impact, budget update. Vince?
Same trends. Trends are I'm seeing right now and can report to the board. The special ed nursing continues to have some pressure on the budget. Special education evaluations and consultations. Special ed in-town transportation. One note that I'll make about special ed nursing, because I have now seen some, and have in hand, some Medicaid reimbursement dollars, and the Medicaid funds, revenue funds, will be used to partially offset the special education nursing costs that the board is experiencing right now. And we'll later on the agenda, we'll be looking at the October financial report, and I can talk a little bit more on other grant updates that have been coming in. And we're also going to talk in the budget in just a minute about the start of our new budget process that's just begun.
Any questions for Vince? Okay, thank you, Vince. Okay, next item on the agenda, 7B, approval of the proposed 2019-2020 school calendar year, second reading.
We've got two versions.
So we provided two versions because we wanted to take your feedback from the last session that we had, the last meeting where you did the first reading. And we moved two of those early release days so that you could take a look at that. So in version A, yeah,
Sorry, I
yeah,
apologize,
no.
I thought you...
No, it's in the packet.
Okay.
In version A, we split those two last days into August 30th, which is the Friday before Labor Day. So we felt that potentially parents would like to have an early release on that Friday because it's a long weekend. The second is June 4th, or actually just the second to the last day of school, right? Because that's a moving target, as we all know, with snow days. But it's the second to the last day of school. Given the time of year and where things are at that point, we felt like, again, it would be something that we could do, and parents, it would be a little easier for parents given that it's the second to the last day. And then in version B, it's just the 6 early release days. So we provide both, but there were some questions that we received about, why do we, the early release days, is there a need for additional time? So I don't know, Kim, if you wanted to provide a little overview of some of the information that we're including.
Right, and I know you can read this, so I'm not going to go into great detail, but let me just walk you through what I provided for you. Why are we in need of additional time for professional development? So there were some questions about, the scope of what we're trying to work on. And so that first paragraph really is talking about the significant shifts that teachers are making in their practice and the need for greater time for professional learning. And 3 pages in, you see a graphic representation of what we talk about out in the public as well as with teachers as, representative of these major shifts. The second piece there underneath research review just gives you 5 big points from Hanover Research regarding their thinking about high quality professional learning, and we certainly use these tenets to guide our planning for professional development. On the second page, Christine prompted us to think a little bit about how much PD time is best, what kind of time do we need, and so this is my best attempt to quantify using some information from the National Staff Development Council. So in the second paragraph there, you can see that the National Staff Development Council would recommend that 25% of a teacher's time be devoted to learning with colleagues, and that would equate to approximately 2 hours a day. And so when I went through further down the page and tried to do my best to kind of guesstimate or estimate where we would fall in terms of how much professional learning time we have, it would seem that teachers in Farmington overall, there are some differences level to level, have about 40 minutes of professional learning time per day. And those opportunities come in the form of district-wide PD days, and then when you turn the page, faculty meetings devoted to professional development, department meetings, team time, the release time that elementary teachers have when a substitute comes and covers their classes for a half a day for the team to meet, as well as other professional development opportunities with coaches or participating in instructional rounds. I did my best to quantify about how much time we have. When did we first add these early release days? That was back in 2017-18, so we've had them now for 2 years. The original request was for 8 early release days, and we decided, or you decided as a board, that we would start with 6 and kind of see how we did with that. And then finally, I just gave you a helicopter view of the 2017-2018 professional development programming last year, and how the kinds of topics that were covered and the kinds of work teachers were engaged in over the course of last year. And it would, look similar as we progress through this year. And I think we send you in a weekend update, specifically what's going on those early release days when we have them. And just the last thing I wanted to mention is that not only do we appreciate the opportunity to have teachers come together for professional learning on these early release days, but it's a really wonderful opportunity to bring secretaries and paraprofessionals and nurses together for them to have time for professional development. So that's just a little background. Hopefully we answered your questions to help you think about this decision with greater detail.
Okay. Thank you, Kim. Can I have a motion to approve version A or version B of the 2019-2020 calendar years presented?
Motion?
Second.
A or B?
Well, then we'll open up for discussion, then I just want to get the motion on the table, and then we can
Okay.
discuss it, so.
Sorry,
You
thank
want second? Chris?
Second.
Okay, second. Okay, so let's open up the discussion for versions A and B. Any feedback? Okay, Andrea?
On version A, the last early release day is on the day before the last day of school. Will that be a moving date? Or will it
Yes.
be June 4th? So,
It'll be a moving date.
a moving date, okay.
So basically the last 2 days of school will be half days.
Right.
That's fair.
So can you just clarify the number of, is it a half day for each of August 30th, the 11th, the 12th? As you're listing.
Right, so now in version A, there are a total of 8 early release days.
And then B,
It's
There are
6.
6.
Okay. Any other
I don't have any comments, I'm good.
comments? Okay, Liz?
So Kim, is it it's your recommendation then for version A, for the PD that you believe that the district needs?
Yes.
Okay. Version A is basically what you came to us with last time, but you just moved 2 of the dates around?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. Can I just make a comment?
Absolutely.
So my feeling on this is basically that I believe that the administration, I trust the administration in knowing what to do with the dates and what the needs of the district are. My feeling on the calendar basically is frustration with some of the other dates. Like, I feel that, it's my feeling that I would vote yes on version A, just to let you know. So I just want to preface my comments with this. My frustration with the calendar is that I feel like just as a country, not necessarily in Farmington, but we're falling behind in education, and that our students need more time in the classroom. So things that bother me are like, and I know that it's complicated, so I'm saying this more for parents or people in town that don't understand how complicated it is. There's contractual things. There's things that are, it's not as easy as to say like, well, let's just go to school on Columbus Day. Yeah. So, but things like that frustrate me, that students aren't in school on Columbus Day, or that they're not in school on, certain, Yom Kippur, or they're not, but it's a complicated issue. So, but I support the district and I support the administration in the need for the PD days. I think that those are very important, and that the teachers do need that time. So whatever it is that you're recommending, and that I think this is an excellent document that should be circulated so that people understand what it is that is needed. And that the mandates that the state is giving us are so much greater as well. I think for that reason, version A is the one to go with.
Okay. Christine?
So I just want to thank you, Kim, too, for putting this together. I know this was a lot of information, and I think after our last meeting, it was good for us to get more clarity on all of this stuff, because it seems to make sense. And I also appreciate you hearing, you know, that parents in the district are challenged sometimes with these half days. And I think, you know, the two that you added in are a really good compromise. Those are dates that, you know, traditionally people may have time of their own, or they're preparing for summer break, or, you know, they can work those in a little bit more easily. So I would just ask that you kind of keep us posted on this, if this is working, if these dates really don't offer the same value that more time during the school year offer, then, you know, that's something we want to know, because we want to make sure that it's valuable time for the teachers, and that it's time well spent for them, not just offering them time that's maybe not useful for them. So thank you. I'm in favor of version A as well.
Yeah, and I just, you know, you look at the calendar, I don't know how to do it any better. I mean, you know, it's just balancing all the competing interests of, you know, professional development, family needs, you know, the state mandates, everything. It's just, it's just an impossible task, I think, to make it work for everybody. And, you know, we're trying to do the best we can. So I reckon, you know, second comments from Christine and Liz. So, so the motion on the table is to approve. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
You can go first.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have an idea of what you will fill those days with on version A? Do you have a curriculum in place, or?
This will be for next year, so that we wouldn't be able to anticipate now what I would do with them next year, but we have, you know, a process that we go through to determine and decide how to use that time, and it's very connected to these school development plans. So principals have great autonomy as to, you know, in the moment, like, where are they? What is their faculty? What are their faculty saying are their needs at the moment? What can they work on? And so some things are predicted across the year, and others are left to, you know, what do we need right now? What is in front of us? What do our students need, and what do we need to learn how to do better?
So you would anticipate using them all, rather than thinking that you wouldn't have curriculum to fill in?
I wouldn't have.
You're saying it's based on the need of the development plan, so you would anticipate using them all?
We will definitely use them all. Some are sort of set aside from the district perspective as a department-based day, so the music department can be together, and, you know, because they need that kind of vertical, an opportunity to be together across levels. But then sometimes principals have discretion over what they feel their faculty needs at the moment. And some, we do have a prescribed set of mandated trainings that we need to do. So we fit those in first, and then we think about what days are best left to departments or school-based time.
I just want a clarification on this. So when we vote on this now, this is going to be the final vote on it?
Correct.
So, I mean, and I realize I was not part of the decision-making last year for the calendar of this year. And, you know, not having a day off for Veterans Day. And I wasn't part of that decision-making. And, you know, we've received, you know, communications about people's concerned about that recently. So I just wanted to ask that now, I guess, so that is still not, that's, again, this year we're not having a day for Veterans Day.
Right. We do have a policy, you know, that we follow with guidelines. So we follow that when we establish the calendar.
Okay.
Which would include going to school on Veterans Day.
But this was the first year we did it, right?
Because we made a policy change.
Okay. Okay.
Liz?
Actually, I was going to say something about Veterans Day, because we did get an email from someone about Veterans Day, so I was going to say something about that. So it is hard to take every day off that was traditionally a holiday. So I thought about the Veterans Day question, and we did talk about it when we made a policy change, and I think that what we discussed when we made the policy change was one way to honor veterans. It was to actually go to school and have a ceremony in the school and honor veterans that way. because oftentimes when students are not in school, they are not doing anything to honor veterans. They are playing Xbox or going to the mall or watching TV, or their parents are at work. A lot of people do not have off for Veterans Day. One way to ensure that students are in fact honoring veterans is to have some sort of program at school and have the students honor veterans that way. And as far as I know, there is something of differing lengths at all of the schools that honors veterans on Veterans Day when school is in session on Veterans Day. Another issue about Veterans Day is that Veterans Day is on the 11th. However, it is often celebrated on the weekend, so communities can do it all together. So there are often ceremonies on the community level on the weekend that people do attend. So that's another, that families do attend all together on the weekend. So while it's not 100% perfect and does not make every single person happy, that is what we came up with when we changed the policy. So I did want to mention that for people that weren't here when that was done. So, thank you.
Are there additional comments, questions? Okay, so can I have a motion to amend the previous motion, a motion to approve version A of the 2019-2020 school calendar year as presented?
Motion?
Okay, any further questions or comments? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right, it's approved. Thank you again, Kim.
Chris, just
Yep.
or you said motion to amend, earlier motion. I want to make sure that it's done correct. I heard it correct, but the original motion was to have approve A or B.
Version A or B.
So you amended the motion
To just
so basically to delete B. I think you have to have a second motion now.
To vote.
Because you removed
Okay,
B
okay.
and I just want to make sure it's done right.
Okay, yep, okay, so can I have a motion to approve version A
As part of the amended motion.
is part of the amended motion?
Yeah, it's the motion.
Okay,
It's the motion.
It's the motion, right.
yeah,
right.
that's, okay. So the motion to approve version A of the 2019-2020 school calendar year.
Motion?
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you, Bill. Okay, next item, 7C, approval of the 2019-2020 Board of Education meeting schedule, second reading. Can I have a motion to approve?
Motion?
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments on the schedule?
Just 2020. Getting old.
I realized that when we were doing the exercise of the songs, Bill. You don't have to rehash that point.
2020. My daughter will be graduating high school now.
Did we move the, I believe, the early November meeting for election day?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the 18th now, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. it's-
November 4th
November
is...
4th is still on there.
it's-
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's gotta go.
So that's the Monday before election.
Right, that's
day.
gotta go.
That's gotta go.
That was,
I have one with the 20th, 18th, right?
yeah, but
Yeah,
this one
4th
shouldn't
and
be
the
in
18th.
there.
Oh, the 4th is,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that one
I
should
thought we
not be in
said that
there.
was gonna
Yeah.
go.
Right, so
Yep.
take the 4th out.
Yep.
Okay, so the motion to approve the 2019-2020 Board of Education meeting as presented, which will strike the November 4th meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Good catch.
Okay, item 8 on the agenda, new business approval of the 2019-2020 school district budget development guidelines, priorities, and timeline.
So each year, we provide you with a budget manual for your approval, which includes the school district's goals, our budget calendar, the guidelines for the budget development, enrollment, class size, and a 6-year history of budget reductions, as well as comparative data, and a 2-year budget forecast. So if anyone has any questions, we definitely will take those questions, but it's presented to all of you for your review.
Is it a pretty static document from year to year?
It can change depending on, maybe there could be something that is affecting our budget significantly, and we would make a change in the guidelines. So this year, there is no change because we don't, foresee anything that we should change in the guidelines, so it's the same as last year. But over the time I've been here, we've had to make adjustments to the guidelines.
Any questions, further questions or comments? Okay, can I have a motion to approve the 2019-2020 school district budget development priorities as presented?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Kathy? So next item, 8B, review of revision to policy 2410, retention of electronic records and information. I have a motion to approve the first reading of the revisions to policy. Okay, thank you.
So these are just legislative changes that we are aligning our policies. This is part of our model policies from Shipman and Goodwin.
You said just legislative
Yes.
changes, yeah, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Next item, review of revisions to policy 4120, reports of suspected abuse or neglect of children. First reading. Can I have a motion?
Second.
Similar no.
So
Just
again, there was a
legislative
slight
changes.
change in the legislation, and so we're aligning this policy to ensure that it is updated.
Any questions or comments for Ken?
It's just important to state for the record that it does change some of the mandatory reporting obligations.
Absolutely.
Right.
Taking away the immunity. If you did not report something in good faith, it takes that immunity away. So, you know, we can see that this is a big change, and we just want to make everyone aware of it, and we have made everyone aware of it. But now we need to change the policy so that everything is aligned to the new legislation.
They have to report within 12 hours, as I understand it, too.
Yeah, that has been in place now for a few years. It's really just this issue of immunity for not reporting is no longer in place.
Any further questions or comments?
So wait, I have a question.
Absolutely.
So who makes the determination about the not
Good faith.
yeah, that seems awfully,
Well, I think that's why they took that away, and it's no longer in place. So if you don't report, and it should have been reported, it could be a criminal charge. It's a serious offense if you don't report child abuse or neglect.
oh, because it used to say in good faith does not make, and they took that out.
If there was
Okay.
in place immunity if you did not report, but it was in good faith and you really didn't think
Right.
that this was.
That's what I'm saying, it said in good
It's
faith
no-
did not make, if you did not make it in good faith, yeah.
Right.
It was
but now-
counterintuitive because
Right.
it provided some level of discretion in the mandatory reporter that
Right.
the statute did not contemplate.
Right, that's what I'm saying,
Right,
who would be the one
right,
that determines that,
right.
right, yeah, that's, okay.
It's not up for the mandatory reporter to make that decision.
I get it, okay.
Okay. Anything further, Liz? Or-
No, I'm
There
all
you go.
set.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, the motion to approve the first reading and revisions to policy 4120, reports of suspected abuse or neglect of children. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, next item on the agenda, 8D, approval of the educational specifications.
Chris, I'll make a motion to approve items D, A through G as presented.
Okay, thank you.
Second?
Okay,
So the ed specs, this is first approved by the Board of Education. It actually goes to Town Council tomorrow, and it includes our security vestibules. All of this we approved in the budget, so we are going to actually implement these projects in the summer. So security vestibules, roof projects, and the West District office moves. So we, again, this will be approved by the board, and then it goes to town council. This is only done when we are seeking reimbursement from the state, given our reimbursement rate. So we really are following the protocol that we must follow when it comes to construction projects that have the potential for reimbursement by the state of Connecticut.
any questions or comments for Kathy? Okay, the motion to approve the educational specifications in the aggregate items D, A through G on the agenda. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. All right, next item on the agenda, 9, consideration of the business administrator's report.
Just to again point out, this is the October October financials that we're looking at. So please, when the motion's made. The same, I'm not going to restate what I said earlier. I mean, we're seeing the same trends, same areas with budget pressure. And on the grants page, we are seeing some of our grants coming in just a little bit higher than what we had budgeted for. As these grants come in, we're taking the double asterisks off of them. Beth Haber and myself are seeing that we have two different ways in which we get information from the state on our grants. One is through a monthly report that comes to us we need to and then use that to ask for funds from the state. And that is showing us numbers, and then we get a grant letter, a document from the state. We're on the monthly report, we're seeing more information, but we haven't received our grant letters for a couple of these. That's why double asterisks still remain on the title grants especially. Seeing what I'm seeing on the other report, I'm seeing slight increases in those title grants coming down the road too. Don't know what else to add right now. It's pretty much trending how we had expected.
Good. Any questions? Comments? Okay. First, if I can have a motion to amend the agenda item 9A to read the approval of the October 2019 financial report.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Now can I have a motion to approve the October 2019 financial report as presented?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Item 10, report of the board chair. I have nothing to report. I'd just like to, this will be the last meeting before the Christmas holiday, but the holidays in general, I'd just like to wish everybody happy holidays. Thank everybody for their effort, time, and dedication. Hopefully spend some time with family and friends and relax a little bit. But just thank you for everything and happy holidays. Next item, 11, consideration committee reports. 11A, personnel negotiations. We met just recently, but on the custodian contract, I can never remember the acronym for the new acronym.
Well, it's AFT.
AFT, okay. But it's going to go to mediation. We were successful in knocking off some contract language and coming to agreement on some points, but we're going to go to mediation on the 20th. Okay, yeah, the 20th. So hopefully that'll be moving along. It's been going slowly, but signs of progress, and we'll keep you updated on that after the mediation. B, policy, Christine.
We are meeting Thursday, Kathy, at Town Hall?
Yes.
Yes, at 5 o'clock, if anyone would like to join us.
11C, curriculum, Michelle.
Our next meeting is scheduled for January 14th.
Okay, and 11D, communications, Ellen.
We met right before our meeting with Rich, our new communications specialist, and working to get our townwide newsletter out by mid-January. Rich, it's very exciting. He's redesigning and updating the look of the newsletter, so we look forward to that, the new design, and to including very pertinent information as far as our facilities and building projects going forward. So look for that in mid-January.
Look forward to it. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, 12, report of committee liaisons. 12A, correct, no update. 12B, Farmington High School Community Survey Ad Hoc Committee. Bill?
Well, well, you're there too.
I know, but your name is on it, so,
we are.
I want you to,
I missed the last meeting, as you know,
Yeah.
but we have done our work. Our work is complete. We're having a joint meeting in January, and it's on the calendar 22nd, I think, I want to say.
Yeah.
And we received the presentation from the company that did the survey. It was very well done, very thorough, and I think we also have we've come up with like the lessons to be taken away from the survey to kind of report out what we learned, and that'll be what's presented to the town council in our joint meeting. But there's been some presentations already.
Yeah, and at the last joint
right.
meeting we had, there was some discussion from the financial ad hoc committee relative to just our statement of needs and the community's feedback on when you're distilling some of the data, where so the pressure points were what was necessary, required, and to look at certain things, in terms of just how the community felt, if they understood vis-a-vis the statement of needs and what was required, what was necessary.
I understand that meeting was not very well attended, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
And I think so that kind of, you just triggered something. I was going to not say anything, but I will now because you triggered it. The one thing that I think as we go forward and we are ready for the joint meeting with town council, I think if you haven't read the survey results, I encourage you to do it. Read the entire thing, not just the summary. It's important that you have a perspective of what you want your takeaways from the survey to be. Because there will be various positions advanced by various perspectives that may not align with what you think the survey should, what you think the data represents. So I would encourage you to educate yourself with the survey and all its details because it is pretty in-depth. And to your point, Chris, there's this discussion between both committees regarding what lessons can be drawn and this idea of what needs are versus what wants are, and the vocabulary that's really being developed around this discussion is a little challenging for me because what I don't want the survey to be is the creation of a box in which a building, the data is that are going to be, used to create a box in which the building committee that's ultimately seated has to work with. And I think there's a lot, how we interpret it, is it limiting or is it expansive? That's going to be, I think, the big challenge for us working with the town council. So, did I do that well without offending anybody? Because I know there's lots of people that have different takes on it, so I try to be very diplomatic about it.
Very good. I'm sorry, 12C, Farmington High School Facility and Financial Ad Hoc. Christine.
So we are meeting on Thursday at 6 o'clock in the library, at the school library, to discuss our recommendations to the council for the meeting on the 22nd. More to come on that.
Thank you. 12D, Focus, Bill.
Yeah, there was a meeting last week. I was unable to attend. They had a presentation. I don't know how well attended it was. I didn't get a report from Ed, but I'm sure I will shortly. With the FCD
You had him
data.
here earlier.
I know, I didn't get a chance to ask him. I should have. I know with the FCD data, they're going to want to do some presentation in the spring, I'm sure, on that kind of stuff. So stay tuned.
Okay, great. Thank you. 12E, Farmington Public School Foundation. Christine.
No update on an upcoming meeting that I'm aware of.
Okay. 12F, Superintendent's Interscholastic Athletic Advisory Committee. Christy.
There's no meeting scheduled yet. I'm waiting to hear.
Yeah, after the first of the year.
Okay. 12G, Chamber of Commerce. Michelle.
Yes, the Chamber of Commerce is hosting an event along with Tunxus Country Club on Wednesday, and they are supporting a toy drive that's going to benefit 180 families in Farmington and their children so that they can have a happy holiday. So we're really excited about that. And if you've been to the gas stations in town lately, you may have heard some information from the Chamber. They're connecting with community organizations and other businesses. And Nancy Parent recently did a series of ads at the gas station promoting the toy drive and things like that. So there's always a way to get a message out.
Got the amped radio? Is that on the amped radio?
Yeah.
Yes.
So now that you've heard it, for me, you're going to hear it all the time.
I hear Phil's voice all the time.
Yeah.
As we learned from the survey committee, we got to hear it 7 times.
Yeah, right.
That's when it sinks into us. Okay, 12H Green Efforts Committee. Andrea?
Yep, there was a meeting last Tuesday, the 4th. I wasn't able to attend it, but I was told that the discussion revolved around waste reduction, because that's the goal for the next 2 years is waste reduction in our town. And they're working on ways to involve local restaurants in waste reduction in the town.
12I, Ad Hoc Cafeteria. Liz?
We met right before this meeting, and there's a couple of things. There good news on the financials. The cafeteria, Jose's doing great. They've made a profit this year, and most of it's just participation driven primarily. A lot of participation. They're up meal counts. They're up with breakfast, they're up with lunch. They have breakfast in all the schools except for IAR, right? So, and they're thinking of starting an IAR. Unfortunately, the cafeteria in IAR isn't really conducive to that, but they're working on ways around that. We talked about different things that they're going to be starting, different initiatives. There's something starting in the high school that looks really interesting, giving the students like real-time input on different choices, and it's kind of like a thing where they get to vote on different items, like themes, and then they get to see in real time who's winning and what theme wins and all that. So it's good for them, and it drives up participation. So I don't know, Jose's really excited about that, and he seems to be doing a great job. So all in all, very good news there. Our next meeting is March 6th at the high school, and
Did you mention?
yeah, about changing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't know if I was supposed to mention that, so I will.
Yes.
Okay, so
Now you have to mention it.
we're going to be changing it to the Cafeteria Advisory Committee, and it's going to be including teachers and students and parents. So I guess invites will be going out shortly, or we only meet quarterly, so, right?
Yeah.
So invites will be going out accordingly, and we're going to be changing to a different type of committee instead of an ad hoc committee. So.
Ad hoc was really a short-term committee,
Yeah.
and
This
it's
has been on for 5 years.
not short-term.
Right, it's no longer, it's not
We wanna
short term.
change that.
Yeah. So, all right.
2013 this started.
All right, great, thank you. 12J, Health and Wellness Committee, Ellen.
I misread the time of our last meeting, so Kim is going to help me.
So we met on November 26th, and Jose is always there, and he gave a food service update, and Edmund Freddie talked a little bit about fitness testing in the school district. I gave an update on social emotional learning committee, and then as a group we talked about by policy we need to conduct a review of our programming at all levels in physical fitness, healthy eating, and wellness behaviors every 3 years. So we will begin doing a self-study. It's not overly involved, but a good survey at each building relative to our policies and programs. And Ed kind of gave us a preview of what that survey would look like.
Thank you. All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Chris, before you, just
Yeah,
one question.
absolutely, yeah.
One question for Kathy. Tonight we were here and we got to see the Zen Den,
Yes.
right? I just want to make a note of that. One of the things I would ask of you and Kim and Lori Singer is, as we go into the budget process, can we get some ideas as to how we can take that model and maybe spread it out across the district? I know space is an issue certainly, but maybe understand what the cost might be, if it's something that we can afford in this year's budget or not. But it's the kind of thing that if we can come up with a plan to kind of roll that out, I think I'd speak for everybody on the board. I think we're all of the mind that's a good thing. Like that really works. So if we can expand that in a way, I would like to have something on that at the budget time, please.
Yeah, we can talk about where, just because we have that title here, we have space in other schools, so we'd want to clarify that. This is not the only school that has something.
No, I know that, but
So
branding it, I think,
Yeah.
is what is part
Yeah,
of
so
the
we'd
thought
want
process.
to just, we can give Lori, we can make sure Lori makes that part of her presentation to the
Right.
board.
Thank you, I
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Bill. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
I just-
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned.